Good morning, everybody. Welcome to TED Talk, Season 2, Episode 14. I'm Terry Davies. I'm back on the show. Yes, my position as host was taken from me for a few days by Sam Kane and then Nick Davies, and they've been showing all kinds of inappropriate photographs, apparently. So I will be working at getting them both back when I can. I've changed my background. This is not my bookshelf. I'm just pretending to be intelligent. It's just it's just been about 6 days in Mexico. It was wonderful. I love everybody down there. It's such an amazing place. But I'm back here in Phoenix with two amazing guests. Now, I'm very much looking forward to this show for two completely different reasons. My first guest is, I believe you're in New York.
Yeah.
And I've been there from the beginning of this. So talk about being at the epicenter of all of this. An incredibly talented, driven young lady. I can say young lady, right, Holly?
Yes, please do.
Welcome to the show, Holly and Devlin. How you doing, Holly?
Thank you. I'm good. Thanks so much, Terry, for having me here.
Good having you on the show. New York, it's been talk about being the epicenter of everything.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm on 42nd Street. So I'm literally right in the middle of everything. But we just got an announcement 5 minutes ago that they're hoping to move into phase 1 on June 8th. So that will be good. So after 3 months, we'll be able to see the sun. So that'll be nice.
Wow.
But yeah, it's definitely been a ride here for sure.
Yeah. Are you quarantining on your own, or do you have humans or pets with you?
No, I am by myself. So I'm now on day 77. So it's been day 77 here, which has been pretty wild. But, you know, I lived in New York all through 9/11 in the stock market. And so I think that this is, you know, really a defining moment where everybody's coming together. So that's been really exciting to see. And you start to really, you know, seeing your neighbors and people out, like everybody's really, you know, we're helping to support each other. So that's been great. And I've got my little dog here too.
You do? What dog?
Yeah, so here he is. So he's going to say hi to everybody real quick. This is Roscoe. So he's been my little quarantine mascot. And he's been a lot of fun. And he's my way that I can get outside. So we walk around the neighborhood and everybody wants to touch Roscoe. So that's been fun.
I got to tell you, most people know if they watch this show, but I've become a grandfather to a dog.
Oh.
And we already have Dodger, but Nick and Julie just got Kenny Doggins.
Oh.
And let me see if you can see that.
Yes. Oh my God, look at those eyes. Oh my God.
He is just the best.
He looks so well. A friend of mine yesterday adopted a cat because she's been by herself. So she adopted this cat and she named the cat Dr. Mouchy after Dr. Mouchy. And I was like, oh my God, this is what the quarantine is doing to us. We're naming our animals after national health figures.
From Mexico, and both the dogs are running around going crazy. Kenny, the baby's only 9 months old, but he's jumping up. And then we're here for a couple of hours. And at one point I was on the couch and he come over and he just came up to me and put his, and remember he's a puppy, but he put his nose there and he's like that looking at me and this occasional. Anyway,
they just want love. It's perfect. They're perfect. They're perfect quarantine buddies.
In my second guest today, this is exciting, but for a different reason. She hails from Barrow-in-Furness up in Cumbria in the UK, but she has been one of our guest entertainers. But she has been on the Jewel of the Seas ship now. When they left Dubai for 73 days at sea, still sailing home, just rounded the northwestern tip of France, and will be home for the first time in I just don't know how long. Welcome to the show, Claire Charlotte Ball. Claire, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Great. This is quite risky that we're going to do a live show from a ship Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, ship Wi-Fi can be a bit tricky at times, so hopefully it holds out.
But guess what? We have no passengers eating up all the bandwidth.
Yeah.
Nope. Just the crew watching Netflix.
Where are you? It looks like you're in the crow's nest.
I'm up in the Vortex, which is like the bar area. So.
Okay. Well, that's great to know.
In the nightclub.
In the nightclub area. That's great. Thank you so much for joining us. This is great and really quite poignant, I think, for everyone watching the show, that we're having two guests. One who has been quarantined truly in the global epicenter in New York, and someone who is on a ship, and the focus that has been on cruise ships. So this is going to be an interesting show, but thank you both for joining. We're going to start off the show like we do always with 3 random questions. I'm going to start with Holly, and the first one is really quite simple. I love this question. Holly, what is your guilty pleasure?
Well, my guilty pleasure is actually right next to me, Terry. So one of the things is that most of my shows involve alcohol. And during this quarantine time, one of the things that's been amazing. So I started the quarantine with another human, and maybe later in the show we'll get to that. And then when that human departed, a lot of people felt really bad for me. And so my partners started sending guilty pleasures to me. And one of them here is a Bovary chocolate liqueur. So we are going to start using this in some of the shows. And they sent me this bottle to, as I'm here by myself. Another is the plantation rum. So I have all of these things set up. I've gotten more than 24 different bottles of various liquors during the quarantine delivered to my house. The people downstairs in the package room think I'm totally nuts because they come from all over the world. So I had them right next to me for the show today. So those are definitely 2 of my top ones. Let me
just go back to chocolate liqueur. Can you show us that?
Yeah.
Because I know my that's it. Just put it up a little bit. We can.
Yeah, isn't this awesome? So this is a Bovary. So this company, you can find them on Instagram, and I posted about them on Instagram. This is amazing. I have 2 different bottles. This one isn't open. It's just so smooth, and it's dark chocolate, so it's not super sweet. And we're trying to find a way to incorporate this into one of our shows, Prohibition, when we come back up at it. So I've been experimenting and making a bunch of different drinks with this, which has been very fun.
Clarify, you said it's not open, but is it full or empty?
Is this one? This one is full. The other one is almost empty, which is why I left that one over by the bar. I said, "Oh my God, if I show that in the show, everyone will really think I have a problem." But yeah, this is what's great about this too is like it's handwritten on here, the bottle and the batch. So this is exciting, and actually, because this is what we do. So many things involve cocktails. I've been able to do a lot of that, testing during the quarantine.
I know my wife's watching. So, Anne, if you could just go and order that right now. We the port once, and it was incredible.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Claire, what is your guilty pleasure?
Mine is also alcohol. I would have to say red wine. Although I didn't used to like red wine, I used to go for more of like a rosé sweet or, like the sugary drinks. But the last year or so, since being on ships and mixing with more refined people, I like a nice, very good red wine at the minute. Yeah.
Love it. Well, I'm going to let you know my guilty pleasure. I think Holly will have no clue what I'm talking about, but Claire will. In the world of beverages, my guilty pleasure is dandelion and burdock.
Ah, yes.
What is this?
It was England's version of Coca-Cola, although it tastes nothing like that.
Okay.
Years ago, I'm talking like 70 years ago. It's dandelion and burdock. We'll have to put it in Prohibition sometime.
Yes, I'm writing. I just wrote it down. I'm going to be on it. I love that.
Not alcoholic, but it's amazing. We had a question here by. Yeah, a lot of people watching the show. Beth from Tad up in Rhode Island says, I want to know how many new show concepts Pollyanna's come up with after being quarantined for 77 days. I don't really answer, but go ahead, Holly.
We have, oh my gosh, I've been really, every single week, our goal is to turn something new out. So at this point, I think that there have definitely been a dozen that have come through. Every every single week. This is week 12. Yeah. So we've posted a video every single week. And today we're going to post the 12th. So there have been a lot, and those have all been, very much motivated by the gifts that people are sending in the mail. Absolutely.
We've had about episodes of Tat Talk. They normally last about 45 minutes. We're already 12 minutes into this first question. So this could be a long one. Daniel Vintila, I think, said, Claire, you're beautiful. I love you.
Oh, my gosh. That's my boyfriend.
Oh, good. Hello, Dan. And Tracy says, I've had a few drinky poos with Claire Charlotte. That's Tracy.
Yes, we have. I love Tracy.
Move on to the next question. Claire, this is for you. What a crazy 3 months we've had, but your entire life, all the last 3 months, if somebody was going to write a movie about your life, which actor or actress would you like to play the role of Claire Charlotte Hall?
I would go for Natalie Portman.
Okay.
Because I love Natalie Portman. I think that's the only reason I can give. And she plays such a variety of different characters, and I can't really say I'm the same person all the time. I go up and down and a drama queen and, fun. So, yeah, nice. I think I would say Natalie Portman. She can play anything. All
right. What about you, Holly? Who would play Holly?
I would like it to be Tom Hanks because everybody likes him. Everyone likes him. You can't go wrong with him. He already had coronavirus. He can play anything. So when we saw him in Castaway, he could look like my hair. We could just give him some bangs. And I feel like right now, anything or anyone that like nobody has some type of like negative reaction to, it's perfect for me. And I think Tom Hanks is one of the only people that exists that is universally loved.
You're absolutely right. Isn't he amazing?
Yes, love it.
And the last question, this is for you first, Holly. Lockdown, 77 days for you. Have you learned a new skill or a new hobby or during that, something you never did before?
I have. I've learned 2 big new skills. The first one is how to groom a dog, which is an unbelievably challenging skill, especially because he's got like all these different levels to him. So I've groomed Roscoe 3 times, which the first time was insane. And he looked like he was just kind of a patchwork, and now he looks good. And then the other one is I started to build websites. I've always, paid people to do that. And I want to continue to pay people to do that. But I started making changes to them myself. And then I figured out that I could do it. And I built an entirely new website for our company, Kaleidoscope Entertainment, which is pretty detailed and has, 20 shows on it. And I did that all by myself. And when I finished it, I actually, I started crying tears of joy because it felt like a big thing. So now I feel like I'm on a roll between, the chocolate liqueur and the websites. That felt good.
Well, for anyone who doesn't know Holly, and we know she's a doer. And she knows we are too. When we first started talking, we're going, okay, this is good. What should we do? Where are you? Philadelphia. Then, okay, I'm driving there now. Yeah. And then we said, well, I'm going to England. Well, okay, guess what? We'll just fly to England. Yeah. See.
Yeah, that was so wild that day in Liverpool. And honestly, seeing Sam that day, that was probably the last day that I had with anyone that was like a normal day. Because like right after I saw him, I got on that ship and then everything just went kind of nuts. So it was so lovely to have that last, that day with him. It was wonderful.
And of course, after he met you that day, him and his wife, Linda, got so horribly sick. I mean, literally on death's door. It was horrible for us and obviously horrible for them.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. What about you, Claire? What have you learned? A new skill in quarantine? Or I don't know if you call it quarantine or shit.
Yeah, well, so actually we were quarantined on the ship as well. So we had 14 days where we were isolated in our own cabin. So we couldn't leave the cabin at all. After a while, we got some time to like go out and get fresh air. So I'm not very good at doing nothing and sitting, being still. So I did quite a lot. I enrolled myself in a few new courses online. I got myself a diploma in diet and nutrition, which is something I'm really interested in as well. Fitness and diet and nutrition. And I started doing yoga every day, and I roped my boyfriend into doing that. So we were doing yoga every day. What else? I also cut his hair. So it's not the dog, but I tested it out on a human. He said it was okay. So it's not a bad thing. What else did we do? Oh, I created my own website. I decided to make my own website, my first one, and still in progress. But yeah, I decided to do that. And I've just been trying to keep busy doing lots of things. But the main things is I completed a diploma and I started doing yoga. So they were the main things I've done.
There's a bunch of great answers to the questions. We're going to talk about. We're going to talk to each of them about their career, how they got. I'm actually going to start with Claire today because I know on the ship they have an hour limit, and we may lose her as she's going. Have you been through the Bay of Biscay yet?
Yeah, we've been. We were going through last night and this morning. So
how was it? Was it like that? Was it okay?
No, actually, we've had really smooth sailing. Yeah, it's been beautiful. It's really sunny and nice. Starting to get a bit cooler now.
Yeah.
Towards England.
You know a lady called Glenda Ball?
Oh, yes. It's my mum.
She said you made a video for her. She commented on it.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did. So it was her birthday the other day, and I decided to do a little cover for her and sang for her. So.
Right, we're all going to sing "Happy Birthday" to Glenda before the show's over. All right, Glenda. So Claire, how did it start? Your career start? Did you? When did you get to that moment when you thought, "Oh, I might do this for a living"?
Well, so I always enjoyed performing. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to originally be a dancer, as every child does, I think, in England. They go to ballet and tap and jazz, and I always wanted to dance, and very quickly realized I was never going to reach my dream of being a ballerina, probably because I enjoy my food a bit too much. So anyway, I went to theatre school and still wanted to be a dancer, but then learning all the different trades in theatre school, acting and singing and everything all put together with musical theatre, it opened a lot more doors for me. And I left theatre school, still wanted to be a dancer, and then somehow fell into singing through a wonderful company called Gary Star Productions. They hired me to be Baloo the bear in Jungle Book. So I was, one of the characters with the heads, and I was one of them. And then he realised I could sing, and he said, "Oh, do you want to come and work on a holiday park in Skegness?" Or Skeg Vegas, as we like to call it. And so I went to Skegness and worked on a small holiday park, and he gave me like the free rein to do cabaret, like one night a week, 2 nights a week. And so I would go in the show bar every day and just rehearse song after song after song. And I think from there I really grew my voice and realized that what I wanted to do. And after about 2 years, 18 months with him, I started auditioning for cruises. It took me a really long time. I was auditioning for 4 or 5 months. And then suddenly something clicked, and I got offered quite a few actually in the space of 2 weeks, and decided to take a job with AIDA, and worked with AIDA for 2 contracts, and then continued auditioning. And then I auditioned for Royal Caribbean, and I've been with Royal Caribbean ever since. And then since being with Royal, I seen all I love going to watch the shows in the theatre every night. I love watching all the guest entertainers, and the variety of everything that they get on ships is amazing. And seeing it, I was like, oh, that's amazing. I want to try it one time. And I worked with a really great musician who allowed me to come and sing with the orchestra, just 1 or 2 songs with a set that they were doing. And so he wrote some charts for me. And then from there, it kind of progressed into creating a small show, 20 minutes. And then it got bigger and bigger. And then I decided, well, for me, I thought this was a good concept to do. So I created my first show, Woman of Rock, and developed it. And it's still developing. It always is. I think it's good. Nothing is becomes stagnant, and just keep developing everything. So I started developing that one. And then I really wanted to be a guest entertainer eventually, because I don't want to stay doing, 10 months on a ship for my whole life. I want to start settling down a little bit too. So I decided to create a second show, which is my Divas Through the Decades show. And that's where I am right now. I'm thankful to be here with TAD management. And hopefully once all of this is over, we can start getting working and what happens.
Boys. I've got a question, though. You said about eating a lot of food. Ross, our producer, could you just throw up that photograph of Claire on the staircase on the ship? Not that one. That one. What are you talking about?
I know. That's the diet. That's the diet certificate, Terry, that she got. She took that program so she could figure out how to do both things. I certainly do not have. I didn't take that program.
On that, if anyone has not yet seen Claire perform, just check out this video. You're going to love this.
You don't have to sing. Don't worry. I promise you. What's your name?
Dominic.
Ladies and gentlemen, give Dominic a huge round of applause. Dominic! Don't you mess around with me, you're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker.
Well, I'm glad you didn't stick to ballet. That's awesome. That's so.
Me too.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, let's talk real briefly about 73 days. And of course, I mean, just not being negative at all, but obviously the rap that the cruise industry has got during these times is pretty negative and quite unfair, actually. But you're there on the ship with no choice. You've got to be there floating around and finally getting home. What's your general take on your last 70 days and kind of a feeling of how the camaraderie is there amongst the crew and the cast and so on?
Yeah, well, I think, honestly, this ship is a really good ship to be on. And the upper management are incredible on this ship. So this is my second time on this ship, which is why I came back, because the management and the crew are amazing. So in general, to be on this ship, it's very good. I can't obviously speak for the other ships because I know it's very different, especially in America. I think they've had it a lot harder than us. We were super, super lucky. When we were in Dubai, we managed to get around 350 crew members off before we actually set sail to come back to Europe. And we were one of the first to send people home. And being cast members, we thought we were going to be the first to leave. But I don't know why, but they decided, to keep us. I think it was in the hope that we could stay and operations would get going again kind of quickly. And then we could, be here when they started. And then obviously as we progressed through to Europe, they realized it's actually a lot worse than they first thought. And they started to send more and more people home. And like I said, I'm super lucky. I also have my boyfriend on the ship. Hi, Daniel. And he's here with me. And so we've been able to go through it together. But I think if you're on your own, it's very hard. You feel isolated. The Wi-Fi, of course, we're getting free Wi-Fi, which is amazing. Royal Caribbean is doing a great job keeping everybody spirits high and giving us as much as we can. But sometimes it's hard to just speak to our families. Like, you want a video call. And when there was a lot of crew members on the ship, it's hard because, you know, it cuts off and you can't have a decent conversation with anybody. So when you're on your own, it can be hard. But the company really has, in my opinion, done a really great job getting everybody home. If you think of like how many thousands of crew members that they have to deal with to try and get them home to their families, and they've arranged charter flights, and, you know, things could be better, of course, as they can in any situation, but things could be way, way worse. It's just the things that have happened on some other ships is really, really sad. And I think that it's hard to point fingers or point blame at anybody right now, because no one knows how anybody's going to react. Everybody in the world is going to react differently to this anyway. So it's just, we've got to try and keep positive.
And, you know, we're working with all the lines, and we know firsthand thousands and thousands of people working so hard to correct this situation that none of us were prepared for. None of us not only didn't know what was going to happen, but what is going to happen. So obviously there's been some very unfortunate circumstances, but the cruise industry and the people that are in it, from the very top to the very bottom, it's a wonderful industry, and we'll come back. Somebody on your ship is using your Wi-Fi to say hi. Carissa Doria Dinos, is that right?
Oh, yeah. Hi, Carissa. She's one of the singers from the party band from Nude Icons.
Well, hi, Carissa.
We're still here.
Say hello to everybody. Come and stick your nose in on Claire's feed. That's fine. But she said hi anyway. Great talking. Stick around. I know we may lose you in the signal, and if we do lose you for a couple of minutes, come back on and say us, come see us. Yeah. Holly, how are you?
Hey, hi. That's so wild, Claire. I'm just thinking about, I mean, being out there, because, you know, I'm on the ships a lot, and you know, good for you for really finding so many positive things to do at this time, and with the people around you. That's wonderful.
Now, you went through that entire interview with Claire and did not sneak a drink of chocolate liqueur.
I didn't. and I definitely, you know, here it's wine o'clock around 2. So being that it's 2:28 for me, you know.
That's not too early.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I even brought 2 just in case we were doing anything. I have 2 different types of glassware as well that we could try drinks later.
The only thing I got is an empty. You see that? An empty.
Yeah. I mean, you could drink out of whatever you can find. I mean, we here in the city, we're turning it into New Orleans a little bit. The New York Times called us Midsummer Mardi Gras, because now the only way to keep any of the restaurants open is to have outdoor bars, and you can get things in a to-go cup. So I think I lived in New Orleans for a time, and, you know, that freedom is wonderful. And I think we're definitely taking advantage of that here in New York City.
My wife just wrote on here as a comment, sup up, which Claire will understand. Sup up means drink up.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to know why she's not ordering this chocolate liqueur unless she's already ordered it.
Exactly.
So, I'd love the viewers to learn a little bit about your early life, Holly. Where did that start? How did it start? And how did you fall into this industry?
Yeah, so I'm from outside Boston, Massachusetts, and I knew that I always wanted to come here to New York. So I moved to New York when I was very significantly younger, over now 20 years. This will be 20 years now. And I went to Fordham at Lincoln Center, which is a wonderful, wonderful program, you know, only about 20 blocks from where I am. And I started as a director there, and I had, you know, some acting training as well. And I immediately started working with Broadway directors who were not only directors, but artistic directors of large regional theaters. So the person that I worked with for the longest was Des McAnuff. And the way that I met him was kind of crazy. I was an assistant on another workshop and I knew that he was going to be there. And so I brought my resume and I had it in my back pocket all folded up, and it was pouring rain on the day of the presentation. And he ran in, he was soaked, and he was like, threw his umbrella and his hat at me because I was waiting there just to greet him. And that was the beginning of what would become a decade-long relationship. At the end of the reading, I told him, because I was holding his hat, that he had to, speak to me. So he and I ended up working on more than a dozen productions together, many of which went to Broadway, including Jersey Boys and Billy Crystal's show, the short-lived Dracula, the musical on Broadway. And I wanted to work with him specifically, not only because I wanted to work on Broadway and he was a director, but being an artistic director, to be able to see how you can produce and organize, 5 or 6 different shows at once, that was super interesting to me. So in observing him doing all of that, I started forming my own companies while I was still working on Broadway as an associate. And the first one was Wine Lovers, the musical, that was brought to me by Broadway Across America. And that show features 6 glasses of wine during the show. So we started that 15 years ago. And I am just like, this show, it is the little show that could. I'm telling you, we have, at the end of the summer, we have a lot of people that want to do the show. They either want to have it virtually, or they want us to bring it to their house and do it in their backyard for their friends. They want us to do it at galas. I mean, you can't go wrong with 6 glasses of wine in an hour. So
gradually gets better as you move along. But
yeah, exactly. By the end of the show, everyone is a Broadway star. And so I started.
There's a little bit of Wine Lovers. Check this out.
Yeah, sure.
Wine Lovers, the musical.
Yeah.
So Ted Management and Holly's company, we work together, and we're working on many different concepts. We were running about 3 months ago, literally flying across the world to each other, but we're going to be bringing that back very, very soon. Tell us about Prohibition.
Yeah, so we have another show called Prohibition, which and actually this actually kind of full circles to this quarantine time. So years ago, I was living between New York and New Orleans, and I was looking for inspiration, local inspiration. And I read this book called Empire Sin, which is amazing. And it actually talks about the time that was 6 months after the Spanish flu. And during that time, everybody needed something. They wanted to get out of their houses, just like we want to now. And so this area that was formed that was very popular with the oldest profession is Storyville, which was a red light district in New Orleans. So we created, because that's something that's always, even this time of COVID, that will be something that's going to come back. So we created the show 5 years ago, and I wrote the show, directed the show, and it has 6 whiskey cocktails, vodka and whiskey cocktails in it. So these are some images from the show that you can see. That one with the girl with the whip is particularly funny. That's at a speakeasy here in New York, and the things on the wallpaper are very scandalous, which we didn't realize first. And then we were taking the photos and we're like, oh my God, this is perfect. This is when we were doing the show up in Canada. So we've had so many different incarnations of the show. Right now we're running a Norwegian cruise line, this is a picture from Norwegian, which has been very exciting. It opened the Bliss and it opened the Encore. And we actually have some exciting news that gives me hope for the future, but we're partnering with some companies here in New York on 42nd Street. And we're hoping that by the end of the summer or the beginning of the fall, we'll be able to open the show in restaurant venues here so that the money can go back to the restaurants and entertainment industry. So for us, for our company, it'll probably, be a break even, but it will offer jobs and opportunities for the hospitality and entertainment industry. And we're going to do it in this, there's a It used to be the Playboy Club, and now it's the Cachet Hotel. But they have 6 venues there. So we're really excited because the venues, for a 200-seat venue, you could put 20 people in there, and the girls could move between the rooms. So that's been a lot of fun. And I really love partnering with all of these different, food and beverage companies for that one too. So I think we have a clip of that, which is really fun.
Let's hit this. This is Prohibition.
Sure.
1928, dear. There's something wild about you, child, that's so contagious. Let's be outrageous. Let's misbehave. We're all alone, no chaperone can get our number. The world's in slumber. Let's misbehave. Let's misbehave.
Everything you do is first class, you know that? I mean, everything you do, you're a classy person. But I have a question, and Jan just brought this up too. In I think it was Wine Lovers, you said there's 6 glasses of wine. And in this one, you said there's 6 whiskey cocktails.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the show is about 60 minutes long.
Yeah.
So that's about a drink every 10 minutes.
Yeah. And they're actually, so for Prohibition, depending on the versions of the show, some of them have 2 vodka and then 4 whiskey, or some people do, and they're full drinks. They're not tastings.
You're going to be sponsored by Uber. You know that.
Yes, we do. We use Uber and Lyft on land. Yeah, because they are full 5 to 6 ounce drinks. It's crazy. And for wine lovers, even on the ships, you drink an entire bottle with that pour. So it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. We're going to do another clip. Check this out. This one's called Bottoms Up.
Yeah.
About that. Check out Bottoms Up.
La 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 la. Shake it to the right, shake it to the front. Shake it to the left, shake it to the right, shake it to the front. I see ya, hold tight.
Bottoms Up brunch.
Yeah.
There's a trend here.
Yeah.
Of food, alcohol, and sex, and I'm becoming more interested as the time goes on. Tell us about Bottoms Up.
So Bottoms Up Brunch is a 90s theme show. And what I've learned over the many, many years of being out with the public is that people want a few things. They want to be able to have fun, right? Of course, we want to be able to enjoy ourselves. We want to be able to have cocktails, but we also want to participate in ways that we don't necessarily realize at first. And a lot of those participatory ways are being competitive with our fellow, attendees, guests, whatever. So the way that brunch is organized is that it's 4 actors that are all representing a cocktail. So the lead actor is named Bloody Mary, and she's dressed in this crazy outfit. It's amazing. And as we go on and we drink our 5 brunch cocktails, also with bottomless mimosas. So you've got endless cocktails here. The audience starts to compete against each other in games that are all centered around 90s trivia. So we've got one that we play all of these little snippets of 90s TV show themes, and you have to guess what those are, and you can win all these different prizes that are 90s themed. So we give away boxes of Gushers, Nerds, all and you find that by the end of it, the audience is really, really competitive with each other. When we did it, we do a full food service as well. So chicken and waffles, you get all these desserts. It's really, really awesome. And I'm hoping that this is one of those things that can also help to fuel local economies, that we can come into different venues and we can have all of us on the entertainment side partnering with hospitality to really, get people going again.
When we first met and started working together, one of the things that jumped out at me is the 2 companies are very similar, ours and yours, in that we innovate. We're constantly innovating. You're a wonderful innovator, Holly. Tremendous. I've got to get to some of these comments. First of all, my uncle's watching. My uncle is in Morecambe, so he's just down the road from Barrow, Claire. So I had to mention my Uncle Harry. I love him to death. He's up there in Morecambe. My wife said 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So I think when I said wine, food, and sex, I think that's what she's referring to. And Glenda Ball, who's Claire's mom, is trying to pitch Claire for a job in one of your shows. She says she's well into those shows. So that's...
that would be fabulous.
Yeah.
She wants all the wine, the cocktails.
There you go. Yeah, she wants some. One of the things we were working on with Holly before coronavirus was this very exciting thing in Asia called a Battle Royale. And this is one of Holly's, in my opinion, one of her most innovative ways that I think has the ability to change our industry. Just check out this little clip of Battle Royale.
Victory!
Never give up. Trust your instincts. Here we go.
Let's do this.
You want to fight?
5, 4, 3, 2. Let the games begin.
Tell us about that, Holly.
Yeah, this is really exciting. So my dear friend, Randy Buck, from the CEO of Troika, came to me. He's been doing a lot of work in Seoul in South Korea. They were actually running Phantom of the Opera there all the way through April. So he's been over there a lot and just, came to me and said, look, I think there's some really interesting opportunities over here in Asia to explore beyond theatrical events in casinos. What can you come up with? And I think he came to me with that on a Friday, and by Monday, we had kind of conceptualized this whole plan. So the idea of this show, and on our website, kaleidoscopeentertainment.com, you can also see we have about an hour-long storyboard that you can walk through, which is really fun. So the idea is that the show is going to be cosplay. So the actors will be taking on the characters in cosplay with the audience members. So we'll be playing the game and interacting with the game and reenacting the game all at the same time. And that sounds a little bit complicated, but it's actually not. With all of the technology that's out there right now, you can connect everything with these wristbands. So we can literally be, playing in the middle of the game and change it physically in front of you with the actors, which I think will be a lot of fun. And so we had a massive amount of interest in this, as of the beginning of March, and we still do. I actually think that, there's been a lot of conversation about the next 18 months. There's going to be so much of virtual reality work that we're going to need to continue to create, because that content is going to have to be there for people that are stuck at home. So I think that we can continue to, march forward with this. We're just kind of viewing it in a little bit of a different lens of, will the cosplay part of it be filmed, or how will that element work? But I'm still really, really excited about this one, and we've been pushing forward with all the plans.
We're excited. We're excited for you. We're excited to watch, for sure. I know Randy. You mentioned Randy Buck. Randy's brilliant, and it's the reason we didn't see you in Liverpool.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Because you guys were all, it's so, and I'm so glad that you guys got to see that show before everything, see Back to the Future.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Back to the Future was brilliant, Holly. It was everything and then some. Yeah. It was phenomenal. But it was great chatting with Randy, and I met at Piccadilly Station in Manchester at Starbucks over 5 coffees in an hour and a half.
Everyone's jittering by the end with excitement and caffeine overload. I love it.
I'm actually very excited that we've been 45 minutes into the show and Claire's still with us.
Yes.
Wi-Fi's working. Thank you, Royal Caribbean.
Good.
Yeah.
That's the part of the show we call Where in the World is Terry?
Where in the world is Terry? Where in the world is Terry?
I told you that Sam and Nick had hosted a couple of shows, and they're going to be back with us hosting shows next week. We've got some great shows lined up. In fact, let me tell you about that. Sam's going to be back with us hosting on the Tuesday, where his special guests will be UK entertainers Lorraine Brown and Sean Perry, two fantastic entertainers. And of course, Sam is an entertainer in his own mind. Not his own mind, in his own right. Did I say in his own mind? Nick is hosting on Monday. We've got 2 episodes of TED Talk on Monday, which is very unusual. I'm going to be hosting the one at regular time, but then at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. And I think 10 p.m. in the UK, we have got, and this is only for kind of rock pop music aficionados, but they'll be geeking out over this. But we have Roger Joseph Manning Jr. from Jellyfish. Now, Jellyfish is the band that all musicians love to love. They're amazing, phenomenal, and Roger Joseph Manning was one of the songwriters, keyboard player, vocals, and brilliant. So Nick is going to be with him and Christian Phillips, who we think is one of the greatest songwriters and vocalists for me of all time. The guy's amazing. So that's going to be on Monday. So yes, they will be back, and everyone's commenting on Sam being a good entertainer in his own mind. So sorry, mate. The world is Terry is simple. I put myself somewhere else like this. And you guys have to tell me where I am. That's pretty easy, right?
Oh, yeah. So can I jump in?
This is not the game yet. This is just a test. Go on.
Oh, this is the test. Well, you're in Russia there.
I am. Which part of Russia, though?
You're in Moscow.
No, I'm not. Claire?
Which one? Where is that in St. Petersburg? I'm like, I've been there. It looks very. Is that in St. Petersburg then? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Sorry.
Where's that?
Seattle.
Oh, you're good.
Stonehenge.
So
easy.
Oh, in Iceland.
What are they doing in Iceland?
Lou, have you been there?
Yeah. I actually, that's funny because I was just there a year ago yesterday.
Were you really?
Yeah, I just posted that on my Insta story yesterday. I was like, oh my God, a year ago I was in Iceland. I had this cute picture of me in a little hat, and now.
Amazing. What's that?
Oh, where is it? That looks like Scotland or Ireland. Or is that New Zealand? Is that New Zealand where the Lord of the Rings is filmed?
Correct. That's Hobbiton. Yeah. And in fact, right, well, you can't see, but just above my left shoulder, as you look at it, is where Nick proposed to Julia last November.
Oh.
We're not doing that. Doing this, I'm going to play a couple of videos, and you're going to tell me where I am. We're going to start with you, Claire.
Okay.
Where in the world am I?
Oh gosh.
I'll make it easy.
Terrible at geography.
You got a big giveaway coming up.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, I know. I'm going to sound really stupid now because I know what it is, but I don't know where it's at. Is it Finland?
There's $2 on this, and it's not Finland. Oh.
You're close. You're very close.
Can you steal in for the $2, Holly?
I can. You're in Copenhagen.
Copenhagen. Claire.
Claire, you were very close. That's on that itinerary, too. Finland and Copenhagen are on the same itinerary.
I know. I was meant to be doing it right now. This is what I was meant to be doing instead of sailing back home.
And you had your mom saying Copenhagen on here.
She's going to be disappointed with me now.
So right now, you owe Holly $2. It could be $4 coming up. Holly, are you ready for this?
I am ready. Are you switching somewhere? Okay, let's see.
I think you're going to nail this.
I don't know.
Just have a dig around here. Let me see. Let me find something that's a little more. I don't know. I think you're going to get all of them, but let's try this. Where in the world am I?
Right now? Did it switch from where we were?
Switch. That is not called. Oh, look at that.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, I can't. I don't see yet. Let's see. With all the green.
Oh, look at that. That's a giveaway. No?
I don't know why. That isn't for a minute, I thought it was the Great Wall. I don't know. I'm having a hard time. Everything just looks very green to me. Calton Hill. Oh, are you in Greece?
No. Oh,
You're in Greece? Oh, no.
Claire can get the money. Can you get the $2 back?
You're in Scotland.
Oh, I have no idea.
Calton Hill's in Edinburgh.
Correct.
Yeah, Calton Hill's in Edinburgh. I was like, wait a minute. I suddenly thought I was seeing, yes, you're in Edinburgh. Oh, I love it there.
Well, there you go. Edinburgh, no Fringe Festival this year.
I know. Isn't that wild? And also no Boston Marathon.
I know. I heard that yesterday.
Crazy. The first time in 125 years. So wild.
We'll come back. We will come back.
Yeah.
Claire, you suck.
Yeah.
Bad.
I'm really bad at geography, which is weird because I've been so much, but I'm terrible at remembering where anything is. I'm sorry. I owe you $4.
$4. Wow. Okay. So to the part where I ask the question, the same question I ask of every guest on the show, and it is this. If you could spend the next 60 minutes with any two people, dead or alive, anywhere in the world, which two people would you like to spend the next hour with? Where would you go? And what would you talk about? And I'm going to start with you, Holly.
Sure. Well, the two people that are going to seem like a completely crazy non sequitur is that I'd love to do with Ed Bastian, the CEO of Delta. I just really love Delta. You know, oddly, people ask if I didn't go into entertainment, what would I do? I would go into travel, which of course both industries are, impacted at this moment. And just pick his brain. I have this idea for Delta that I want to pitch to him of a business traveler hotel. So he would be there, but the other person that would be with us would be Judy Garland, who would be like singing in the background. So she would be singing as Ed and I discuss my business hotel idea, and then the three of us would have martinis together. So I think that so if Ed, if you're out there, I'll send you this clip. You're somebody that I would love to be in the room with. I find him so interesting, and especially now, given the way that Delta has been handling, they really are the industry leader right now in terms of giving back to their loyal customers and the way that they're handling the situation. So I would love to get an hour with him. And then Judy Garland, I'm just obsessed with. So she would be there, and it'd be great.
Ed just texted me and says, "Does Judy have to be there?"
Yes, I think Ed and I could have a great time. I really am one of those diehard Delta people. I really love their company, and I've been a diamond for more than 15 years. So I am definitely committed.
Drop us an email.
Yeah.
What about you, Claire? Two people, one place.
I would go for Doris Day, my number one. She is like my absolute idol since I was a kid. And I came very, very close to meeting her once for my 18th birthday, but I never got to meet her. But she did sign me a picture from her and a dog. So I would love to meet Doris Day. And then on the opposite side, coming to like the complete current day, I would love to meet Lady Gaga. Two like completely different people. But I think they're both ridiculously talented and they're both my idols. So, yeah. And she just brought out her new album today. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen or if you're fans, but I had a listen today. I am obsessed. So, yeah. Doris Day, Lady Gaga. And I would like to be in like a studio, but a large studio somewhere where we can have a nice glass of wine and talk, and then also like do some singing together as well.
Well, I can picture this bar right now with you and Doris Day sharing Holly's wine with Ed Bastian, watching Judy Garland singing a Lady Gaga song. That would be amazing.
It sounds like a dream.
What a great show this has been. It's been phenomenal. That nearly an hour just flew by. Like that. You've both been phenomenal. What does the future hold for you, Holly? How do the next 6 months, assuming we can get you out of that apartment?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, we're just going to keep focusing on, just pushing through and trying to get something on its feet as soon as we possibly can. Like I mentioned, that space on 42nd Street. I mean, I'm ready to just have actors performing on the sidewalk, and I know that they're ready too. We just want to get it back out there, and we really, really, really want to focus on ways that we can help our community. So that's our biggest focus for 2020 at this point. We've also continued to do readings of the new work, which has been exciting. So I'm hoping that by the time we get to maybe August, we can start doing industry readings where we can have everybody see, the stuff that's been being written now. And then I hope, Terry, as soon as I can, to get out there to you guys to Arizona. That would be great to spend some time out there with you, and for all of us to kind of, look at a plan. I feel like now that they've announced that New York City is going to enter phase 1 in the next 2 weeks, I think that's going to be really helpful for the rest of the country to kind of see, where we're going to be at.
Yeah.
I think that will give us a good indicator. I kind of, in my head, like June and July are months to create things. And then August, I'm hoping, is when we can start to really step up on our feet again.
Yep, I totally agree. I'm completely with you on that timeline. Claire, how does the next year look for you?
I have no idea right now. Hopefully, I'm going home in the next few days, I think. So that would be nice, see my family a little bit. And they've just loosened up all the restrictions in England. So we can at least go and see family from a distance in, each other's gardens and things. So that's going to be good. And hopefully get my first gig with you guys once the cruise lines open up a bit more, and just I'm just going to keep working on covers and do different things at home, just keep busy, trying to stay proactive.
And listen to that Lady Gaga album.
Yeah.
Oh, on repeat. Big time.
Thank you both for being on the show. This has been a blast. Next week, have a great weekend. We're going to have a blast here in Phoenix. Literally, because it's going to be about 112 degrees.
Oh my God.
So we're going to do that. Exciting times on Monday. I am interviewing on Monday a man called Roy Mosley from Mosley International. Roy was the very first agent manager that I had at age 18 with a band I had called Strawberry Pie. Roy is a retired booking agent, promoter, and venue operator, and a really wise and interesting man. So I'm excited about that. Don't forget, Roger Joseph Manning Jr. Is when Christian Phillips are here with Nick at 2:00 on Monday, and we're all very excited. And if you haven't already, please spend, 10 minutes, half an hour, go on Spotify or your digital platform of your preference, look for Jellyfish, get the album Spilt Milk, and play Joining a Fan Club. You will fall in love with Jellyfish and tune in on Monday. It's great stuff. The whole of next week's going to be great. I have a feeling we're coming out of this crazy time, and I hope so. Have a great time. Thank you both for joining us. We'll see you on TAD Talk this week. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.